So we are all here because we're fathers and we have great beards. No, we are here because of the first part. We're all fathers. We all came to be fathers in a different way, I think.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't hold hands and become fathers together.
We didn't all grow beards instantly.
Yeah, well, so we all have different stories. We all have, different struggles, and we all came to be fathers in different ways. I have 2 kids myself. You have 6 or 7? 4. Oh, only 4. Okay.
Feels like 6 or 7.
Yeah. And you have a blended family.
Yes, we are blended. Yeah, two are mine and 2 are hers.
Okay. And then I didn't really. I guess I should have said my name is Wade.
Yeah. My name's Derek.
Yep. So my name is Justin Beal.
Mike Weber.
And Justin, you have how many kids?
So I'm a father of 5. I got 4 girls. I have 1 boy. He's the youngest. He's 3. I got a 5-year-old, 10-year-old, 13-year-old, and 17-year-old. So I also have a blended family. My 13-year-old, she does not live with me, so we got 4 at the house. And I got a kind of unique spin to everything. My 17-year-old, I've had custody of her since she was 7 years old. And I was a single father up until the point to where she was 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
And then I got married to my wife, who we've been married for 6 years now. And the uniqueness about it all is she had a daughter as well when she came into the relationship and we got married. So her daughter is named Jada. My daughter is named Jada.
Oh, really?
The father of her daughter is named Justin. My name is Justin. And the mother of my daughter is Anisha. And my wife is Janisha. So it's pretty unique.
So you have to have nicknames.
Big Jada, little Jada.
Okay.
And Tone.
Yeah,
Tone as well.
That's fair. And you just showed up here. It was supposed to be a beard meeting, and you showed up with your clean shaven face.
I'm the anti-beard guy, yes.
Anti-beard guy. What's your name and how many kids you have?
Mike Weber. And I've got 3. The older 2 are boys, 11 and 7, or 11 and 5. Or no, sorry, I did say that right. 11 and 7, and then my youngest one, my daughter, she's 4.
I mean, as long as you don't have to call your wife to ask what the ages are. Do we have a 5-year-old?
I didn't talk about my kids' ages, I guess.
Oh, do you need to text your wife to find out?
I do. That's why I didn't say anything.
Yeah, you're like, oh man, I knew this morning, and then I didn't have any coffee. So yeah, we all came to be fathers in different ways. We all have different stories. I feel like in a lot of ways there is no, we were talking earlier about, the right way or wrong way, and what fatherhood looks like. There's no, right way, wrong way, in my opinion. And everybody's got a different situation. We have blended families. I've got younger kids, and you guys kind of run the gamut. So, day to day, for sure, looks differently for all of us. Mm-hmm. So, I think for myself, before I became a father, I had this idea in my head of what kind of father I would be and how it would go. And then they were born and they were like, that's cute. Here's what's actually going to happen. So did you guys have that reality check yourselves? Not everybody at once.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, you have this idea of how you're going to parent, and I think some of it probably goes back to how you learn from your parents. Mm-hmm. And there's good and bad, that you take from your parents and from other people that you've been raised by. But yeah, you have an idea. Like, I believe my first 2 kids, we were really strict. Like, you're going to eat this, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And then after that, it's just kind of like each kid, you just realize each kid's different. Yeah. So it's like you could try to parent one kid this way and parent this kid this way, and yeah, they're just different. So yeah, you have this high expectation of, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this. and then afterwards you're just like, okay, that they don't want to do that.
Yeah.
For sure.
They have
And
different plans altogether.
They have different plans, and there's a lot of things that were different before going into being a parent than being a parent. So I don't think there's a great answer for that, but things are different for sure. But I guess,
Yeah, no, for me, it's all about boundaries. Like, I can't stop your personality. You're going to be who you want to be, but there are boundaries, as far as when I do my parenting. I just want to keep you from crossing the street when you ain't supposed to. I want to make sure that you are aware of your surroundings, just certain boundaries.
Making sure they're safe and letting them be who they are.
That's it. You get to be who you are, but again, I think for me as a follower of Jesus Christ, like, I just believe that you have to know the Lord. Like, that's my boundary. That's my overall boundary maker. So without that, I think there's some bullet points as a father that I need to make sure that I hit.
Yeah.
And those are some of it. It's like, you need to, safety is one, religion, spirituality is a big one. And respect. Like, you got to know who to respect and why you respect them. How to get your respect in return. You got to give it, because we got to set these kids up for success when they go to school. That's a big one, Yeah. Because I don't want you, listen, you can act one way at the home. You can get away with some stuff at home. But when you go to school, act like you got some sense. Because if teachers keep calling me over disciplinary stuff, then that just goes back to the home, right? That means to me, it's an opinion thing, but that kind of means like, hey, you still need to work with your kid a little bit, get them to where they can understand, hey, certain things we need to do when you're outside of your home in school. So I just set up boundaries for them.
See, I've always been told that if your kids are angels out in public and they're crazy at home, then you're doing it right. So, if that's the case, they're wilding out at home and in public, you get all these compliments. Oh, they're so well-minded, and he's an angel. And you're like, we're talking about the same kid.
Exactly.
This is my kid we're talking about?
Abby and I keep having that same conversation all the time because, especially Auden, because he's 11, he's in that preteen stage where he starts being angry at everything. It seems like, I don't know if that's really a thing, but it seems
he's like getting the angsty.
Yeah,
early.
there's like times when he's literally spitting vitriol at his younger brother and sister. I know it's because he wants time to himself and all that, and I get it because I liked a lot of time to myself too when I was that age, and I get it, but it still drives you nuts because it's like, you can't be mean to your brother and sister. This is not okay. So, but no, I agree because it's as long as they're bringing the issues back to us to talk about. I mean, I'd much rather they be safe at home and have those challenging conversations than be spewing it across the world. But I liked your point about boundaries. I guess I define it more from a values perspective. Like, hey, I just want you to have these core values. What you do with it, I don't care, because I know as long as you have these core values in your life, it's going to guide you in the right direction. You're going to do something useful in the world and generate some amount of contentedness, if that's the right way to say that, in your life. So, but I like the way you phrase that, because it's like hey, just know as long as you work hard, you respect people, and you try to serve others, that you will find your path in life somewhere along the way. So. But definitely, I had no expectations going to fatherhood because it completely came out of the blue.
Going back to the values and all of that, was that a conversation you had with your partner beforehand? Sounds like
not really.
Was yours like she said, "Hey, guess what? We're pregnant," and you went, "What?" Was it that?
Yeah, because I was at work when it happened, so yeah.
Okay. So
not sure how much I got done the rest of the day.
So after that point, you were like, maybe we should talk about.
I don't know if we never really
had
a straightforward values conversation necessarily. There was a lot of shared values already, which is why the relationship works as well as it does.
Yeah.
Definitely there's times we have conversations about what we expect, especially between each other. We try not to set expectations what we expect for the kids, because that never actually works in the first place. But definitely we set expectations between each other, what we expect of each other as, husband and wife, mother and father, and everything else in between. So, but yeah, I don't know if we ever had that conversation the way you phrased it.
I think that rolls down to the kids too, though. I mean, they see what we're doing all the time.
Yeah.
Always watching.
Yeah, and you want it to be all those times that you are, kind to others, and no, you can go ahead of me. That's fine. But if they're watching all the time, whether you get cut off in traffic and you're yelling names at somebody, so you get all of that. But yeah, so you guys did you have conversations about? I find that interesting because I don't know. My wife and I do.
Right.
We've had those kind of conversations, like what kind of parents do we want to be, and kind of a framework, I guess. But but it seems like a lot of people just kind of go in blind and
Yes.
So we again, going back to, we had shared values. We both, my wife and I were Christians, and that was our biggest thing, is that we wanted to raise our kids in church. And we never really talked about how we're going to parent, because I think we communicated in that sense, like we both had the same values, and I think we go back to like our past experiences. She was disciplined a completely different way than I was disciplined growing up. And when you throw
That's
those
a
two,
big one.
Yeah, when you throw those two together, you got to really figure out, okay, well, you're more discipline oriented. My parents let me do all this, so we got to have a happy medium. And talking about that's important, because we parent a lot of times of how we were raised.
Yeah.
And if we don't have those communications, those type of conversations, and being self-aware, like, hey, my dad did this wrong, so I struggle with that now, so I need to be aware of that, that trigger or whatever it is, but going, that's never really having those conversations about those are important. You don't think about them when you're excited to have a kid, and you're happy
to have a kid.
You're ecstatic. So you don't think about that type of details when when it's like, oh, hey, you're going to be a father. Like, that's not talked about.
How do you manage that expectation you put on yourself? Because I think we all do this to ourselves, whether it's mothers, fathers, or anything in between, where we say, we know how our parents did it, and I'm going to do it a million times better because I'm just so amazing. It never actually works out, but we think that in our heads. But how do you, I'm curious, because you talked about this a couple times now. How do you manage, this is how my dad or my mom did it, I'm going to do it this way? Because I know, my dad, he brought a lot of anger to the conversation too. Not all the time, but there was definitely plenty of it.
Right.
And arguably, there's times I have a very short fuse as well. So I guess how have you found that you, are cognizant of the fact that, hey, I want to do this better, but actually executing on that idea? Like, how do you manage that?
Just admitting you're wrong.
What? No way.
Is that like self-awareness?
Yeah.
Self-awareness.
That's the thing.
Self-aware, right. We're never wrong, right? Yeah, being self-aware of because it's not your dad's fault or your parents' fault.
No.
Because they were raised a certain way too. Like, you don't blame them, but there's things that they've got wrong, and then there's things that you have to correct. And it's just being self-aware of who you are. Know your triggers. Like, so I talked to my son. I said, hey, son, my trigger is if you're disrespectful to your sisters and your mom. So I have a conversation like, I need your help in this. Can you work on this for me? Can you not be disrespectful to them? So then I won't get so upset so much, and then we can, it's having conversations with your kids too, and treating them, giving them the respect, because they're their own person.
Yeah.
They don't belong to me. They are their own person, and giving them that type of respect, and just having conversations with them. And, hey, this is my trigger for dad. Can we work on this yourself? That's it's just being self-aware and knowing your triggers yourself as a parent, and admitting when you do mess up. My dad never once told me he made a mistake. Never said he was sorry.
Let me give you something that's big, because I've been noticing these kids they're humans.
Yeah.
What? We're sure.
Listen, man, they will tell you about yourself.
Oh yeah.
All you gotta do is ask. I don't care what age they are. They would say that, 2-year-older would say, "Daddy, you mean?"
Oh,
Yeah.
You gotta listen. You gotta be willing to ask these kids. You gotta understand that in this relationship, we gotta really start in our families and our relationships. We really need to start dumbing ourselves down. We just as equal as our spouses.
Right.
We got a responsibility to our kids, but they can see what's going on. They will still call you out on your weaknesses. You know what I mean? So you gotta listen. And sometimes you can't do it out of anger. Or even if you do it out of anger, you need to be self-aware in that moment or after that moment and be like, whoa, I messed up. Now let me show this kid how to apologize.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's good.
Let me break down and walk up to this kid, my kid, and be like, ooh, okay. All right, son, sorry.
You gotta call yourself out when you
Yeah.
need to.
Yeah.
And give them that,
Yeah.
so that they can see what it is to apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
good.
huge, though. Shoot, we're going to screw up 100 times a day.
Thousands.
You're going to screw up more often than you get it right. Let's be real. Whether it's professional life, personal, father, whatever, you're going to screw up more often than you get it right in all reality. But you're right. It's showcasing that, one, in general, it's okay to make a mistake.
Yeah.
And then taking responsibility and moving forward past that. It's like, that's probably one of the most valuable things that you can teach someone.
Yeah. And explain, like when you discipline, like when you do a chore, they have to do something, like my son taking the trash out. I tell them, hey, listen, this is the reason why you got to take the trash out. It's not
Because
because
Dad doesn't want to take that.
That's the real reason.
sometimes that's what it is.
Literally, that's what it is sometimes. I don't want to take it out. Boy, take it out. Oh,
Hey, I'm gonna tell. I just got
Was
my
that
oldest to
was
start
it-
mowing.
was it
I'm gonna
something
tell him
deeper
that's the
you were
reason.
Well, there's some things like so. But what I was going to go with it was like my dad said, "Hey, do this," and I asked him, "Hey, why?" And he's like,
Because
I
he said
said
so."
Yeah. Well, are you God? And I'm like, come on now, so when we tell our kids, "Hey, you're going to do something," explain to them like this is the value of it.
Yeah.
Like this is why you're doing it. Like this
Yep.
isn't just because I said so, because who I am. Like no, there's a value in this. When you get your own house, you got to take your trash out.
Yeah.
You have to take your trash out. That's just something that I've learned over the years. Like, just don't say because I said so. Have the patience to explain to them, hey, listen, this is the reason why I'm showing you this.
Yeah.
That's one thing in my house. My daughter's 3, and she's in the YF aids, so
Right.
I don't have to explain anything. She asks why about everything.
Yeah.
So, and the patience is a huge thing. I thought I had a very long fuse before I had kids, and then I had kids, and they just do things that drive me insane all day, every day, and.
I think I learned the trick to fixing that. You go elevator. Because I am your father.
I knew you were going to bring in Star
Bring in
Wars.
Star
I knew
Wars.
it. I knew it. We tried to get that out of our system, I thought.
Hey, he served it up too well. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
that's
He
fair.
served it up too well.
That's great.
I've been noticing like one big thing that keeps me going and gives me enough patience to deal with these kids. Is I say to myself, man, they're sponges. They are asking these why questions because they gotta expand their knowledge about the world that's around them. And
Figure it out through you.
one principle we live by, my wife and I, we both agree to this, is we are not raising kids to be good kids. We're raising these kids to be good adults.
Right.
Bottom line, we're not, these kid years only last so long, but you're an adult
Majority
for
of it.
a long time.
Yeah.
All of those core values that you put into a child, they really do start from birth to 3 years old to 4 years old. By that 5th year, you're really gonna start seeing that personality develop. They're gonna start knowing what to do before you even tell them. Like, all of that core stuff is between birth and that 4th, 5th year period.
Yeah.
Is when you gotta really just tell them what it is and how it should be.
Right.
That's one thing I didn't realize how quickly their little personalities
Quick.
show themselves, man.
Yeah.
attitude.
My son is 1, and he's got a very strong personality already, and it's like, man, I don't. So yeah, just kind of guide him in the right direction.
Well, and I think when they're that age, it's hard because we're very analytical guys. You know, we want to have a conversation with them, and we can't have like reason.
You can't reason with the
reason.
toddler.
You know, you can't reason. So it's
Please
more,
don't throw that in the toilet. Yeah.
why would you do that? Really? Like, you know, we can't have those moments of, and it gets a little more frustrating. That stage was for me because you can't reason with your kids. They're just you know, but you got to be aware that they're, like you said, they're developing who they are.
Yeah.
And be aware of that. And have patience. You know.
That's where my wife is so much better at. You know, she has unlimited patience, and she can see it in my face, and she's like, let me step in here, and maybe Mom should give the rest of this bath. And are you guys pretty hands-on when it comes to? Are you in the trenches? Are you changing diaper? Well, you're past the diaper phase.
Past.
You're in the diaper phase still, with a few of them.
Well, not really. I got a 3-year-old, so he is definitely.
Everybody's potty trained in your
We
house?
got him quick, boy. You better figure it out.
Boys are hard too.
Yeah,
Though.
figure it out. We start early. But yeah, I'm a stay-at-home dad. I do some substituting as a part-time job as well, and I'm a handyman just by nature. I love doing handyman work as well. But yeah, we definitely started early with our kids to let them know, like, you got to get potty trained, and plus they got siblings that they look at as well. But
Yeah,
hands-on, listen, when my wife got pregnant, I said to myself, like, I know enough now, because I got a 17-year-old. I know enough now that she went through some hard stuff. I started learning about the stages of birth, first, second, third trimester, and then the fourth, which is the postpartum. And I started to see that in her. I'm like, wow, she is stressing. You know what I mean? Like, and this takes a humongous toll on her body as well.
Right.
You know? And I'm like, okay, I got to do my part, because obviously your wife is going to be very vocal, and you get to see the emotions running through her. So I'm like, you know, I may not have gotten it right with some of these other kids, but I'm definitely going to be as hands-on as I can, just to make sure that I'm holding my own weight, to tell you the truth. And I think being a stay-at-home dad, since I had to, you know, the transition was really good, super good. So I went from being a fatherhood coordinator with a great organization, not-for-profit, and the transition went to, hey, we need you a little less in the community and a little bit more at the desk. My wife was like, hey, we going from part-time to full-time to a director of a whole region. So it was like, oh, okay. Well, we got finance that's gonna sustain us. I'm not sitting at nobody's desk. I need to be out in the community and moving around. I still have the option to do the community work as a volunteer, so that's what I'm gonna do. It allows me to allow my wife to move around as she needs to, and me staying centered at the home. And with my son being born, I'm like, this is even better, right?
Yeah.
Because I want to put as many core values into this young man as I can, right? So it just worked out good, and it allows me to share that responsibility of parenting with my wife. Because a lot of times, us as men, it's just natural. We've been programmed to think that, hey, I'm the breadwinner, raise your chest, this, that, and the third. But little do we know our wives are quietly suffering because of their humility, right? The programming that they've seen from their mothers and grandmothers as well, that humility.
Don't talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if we were able to be a fly on the wall in their women's group, we would be like, oh my God, I got some work to do, or oh my God, the compassion that you have for your spouse, like, wow, I didn't know. Well, you gotta listen, you know?
That's why
Yeah.
these conversations are great.
Yeah.
We can talk about this stuff. We don't talk about this stuff.
No.
I mean, when's the last time, you know, unprompted, you sat with another dude and talked about, you know, fatherhood or?
I talk to this dude all the time
Yeah,
about
we
it.
talk about
Because we need a time to
about
vent,
fatherhood
so
and
we
everything.
talk about that all the time.
all our mistakes, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually you have a go-to. You have
Yeah.
a best friend or somebody that you're close with that's also a father. But I feel like in general we're all going through the same struggles.
Yeah.
I'm in potty training hell right now. And,
Yeah.
so, now I've got a group of guys I can reach out to.
Yeah.
When
You
I,
literally do. Like
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
this, like
Call us anytime, man.
that's part of what we do. So, yeah.
logistically when they poop in this or that, what do I do? So maybe that's a FaceTime conversation. I can show you what's happening.
And
in my
man,
house.
you can make it so much fun. I'm so quick at changing diapers. I can do it with
Oh
blindfold.
yeah, the diaper change game is on
Man,
point.
you going?
I'm rusty.
Yeah.
I haven't changed a diaper in like 8 years.
Oh,
So don't
sounds
come
like
talk
you
to me
need
about it.
sounds like you need some practice, sir.
It's been 8 years since I've
If
done it.
if
so
nothing else comes from this group, the fact that I have a diaper changer
that's right.
right now, that's
big.
gold. That's gold. He's very quiet over there.
Yeah.
I
Are
made
you
my Star
willing to
Wars
step
comment. I'm
in
good
and?
now.
Oh, you're trying to work into Star Wars.
No, I already made it, so I'm done for the day.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm joking. I'm
Did
joking.
you check this
good?
box?
Were you good at changing diapers when you did it? Or?
He's still in that.
No, I'm not. Well, we still do the pull-ups at night,
Oh, okay.
but that's about it. So because Mira's, like I said, she's 5, so she's well past that, thankfully. Although we took a little bit longer than you guys, because we tried with Auden, our first one, to do that earlier on, and then it just massively failed. So we tried it once. It's like, all right, this isn't working. So we waited about a year. So we tried again. It's like, all right, that's still not working. So it's like, all right, when you figure it out, then we'll just go from there and let it go. And that's what we did with the other two. So they're about 4-ish or maybe a little bit more than that before they finally figured it out. It's like, yeah, it's finally we're done diapers. So this massive expense every month is finally gone.
Nice.
So
what is knowing what you know now? You've been through the potty training phase. You've been through. I mean, you guys have been through early teens. You guys are almost done, right?
Well,
It ends at 18, right?
Yeah,
You just send them off.
supposedly.
But if you could have a conversation with your, former self, and enlighten them, what would you tell? Wait, what would you tell yourself? Yeah.
Right.
What advice would you give?
Yeah, no, for me, I think being self-aware of my triggers, of
Knowing your shortcomings.
Yeah, knowing what affects me, because it's easy to be okay by yourself, but when you have other people around you, that's when you have to adapt, you have to adjust, and kids bring out the great in you, and then they can bring out the worst in you. It's not a bad thing if they bring the worst out of you, because you know how you can work on that. But if you're not aware of that, that goes into just saying you're sorry. That's my biggest thing, is just more apologies. More when I do mess up, have more conversations. Having more support. When I was 20 years old when I first started being a father, and I had no idea, and I didn't really have a support system. So yeah, having guys that I can go to and just run off things and talk about things.
The support system is huge.
Yeah. So yeah, I think being self-aware, and understanding the bad that you learned from your parents, and then just being aware of that, because I gotta tell my kids all the time, like there's things that I've done that you gotta be self-aware of, and move on for that. But
That's good. What about you?
So for me, I would tell myself, whatever age I would be, like, yo, you need to have some healthy relationships with your partner, whoever it's going to be. Like, you need to take your time, learn who they are, most importantly, learn who you are, and then understand that bringing kids in the world, like, it's a responsibility. So you need to be well prepared for that. So, like,
how old were you when you became a father?
I was 24, so I would have told myself as a 24-year-old, like, are you ready? Like, you need to cut out all of that other craziness that you're doing and be very self-aware of what you're about to get into. Like, you need to bring in a human being into this world, just being aware of your past trauma, this, that, and the third, and you need to have a game plan in line that is going to keep boundaries for the kids, right? And you need to make sure that whoever you partner up with, y'all both on the same page.
Yeah.
Y'all working together cohesively to raise this child or these children. That would be my main thing, is take your time, young man. Take your time. You don't have to do it because it's trendy, because you feel like you're about to, get too old to have kids or anything like that. You need to make sure you find the right partner. And even if that doesn't work, then at the end of the day, you need to know who you are. And you need to make sure that you dig deep into what core values you have, and you need to try your best to raise your child in that direction.
At 24, I barely figured out who I was
Right.
to begin with. So yeah, that's some good advice.
Yeah.
What about you?
That was, what was I think I was 20 as well, if I remember correctly, when Auden was born. But yeah, I think the main thing is just just remind myself that there's going to be a lot of really big mountains to climb in life, whether it was the infertility issues or the family rejecting us or 2 kids in the NICU or whatever. There's gonna be a hell of a lot of shit you gotta climb through, but it's gonna be all right at the end of the day.
At the end of the
you just keep taking one more step and just keep moving forward and stick to the things that you need to do, and it's gonna be all right. So, because I had no idea this was coming out of high school, I wasn't really supposed to get married and be a dad. I was that weird ass kid who didn't talk to anyone, so I wasn't supposed to be that person. But just knowing that it'll just keep moving forward and it'll be all right at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
That's good. Yeah, I think I would tell my younger self, not that much younger because my kids are pretty young, but take a breath. Everyone says they grow up so quickly, but they do, and you have those crazy moments where you want to pull your hair out, and then they're little Sour Patch Kids. They're sweet one minute, and you don't want to miss the sweet moments because of the sour moments. So but this is nice. This is nice being able to talk to you guys and realize that we're all treading water, figuring it out as we go, and none of us are experts.
No,
yeah,
one day at a time.
Yeah,
There's no parenting book out there that would teach you about parenting.
Oh, there's plenty that will try to.
Yeah.
You can spend thousands of dollars just trying to figure it out.
And think about this: like we're only in a couple of different stages. Like our next stage is empty
college
nesting and
else.
all of that.
Yeah.
It's a whole different level of parenting.
Yeah.
We invited a boomer, but those boomers aren't reliable, so he didn't show up.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
We can cut that. This is where I do the.
I thought it was this.
Yeah.